Chapter 26. Point at the mulberry, but curse the locust tree. A lie told by one becomes truth when told by hundreds. From a Chinese proverb. To discipline, control, or warn others whose status or position excludes them from direct confrontation, use analogy and innuendo. Without directly naming names, those accused cannot retaliate without revealing their complicity. From the Spring and Autumn period, China. Duke Jin of Qi appointed Sima Quan as general of the army to lead the soldiers against Qin. Sima said, "I was formerly lowly and menial. If my lord pulls me out of my village and places me above the high officials, the officers and the troops will not be submissive, and the 100 surnames will not believe in me. Since I am insignificant and my authority light, I would like to have one of my lord's favored ministers, someone whom the state respects, as supervisor of the army. Then it will be possible." Duke Jin consented and appointed Zhuang Jia as supervisor. Sima met with Zhuang Jia, and they agreed that they would begin the march at midday the next day. Sima went on ahead to the army camp, where he gave orders to prepare for the next day's departure. He also ordered his guards to place a water clock in the parade grounds. The next day, Zhuang, who had always been arrogant and aristocratic, assumed that since Sima was already at the army camp and preparations were underway, it was not urgent for him to be there. His friends and relatives from all around gathered to detain him with drinks and entertainment. By midday, Zhuang had still not arrived, so Sima gave orders for the army to depart. By evening, Zhuang had finally caught up with the army. Sima asks, "How is it that you arrived after the appointed time?" Zhuang acknowledged his fault, saying, "High officials and relatives saw this simple one off, and thus I was detained." Sima said, "On the day a general receives the mandate of command, he forgets his home. When he enters the army, he takes control of the soldiers. He forgets his loved ones. When he takes hold of the drumsticks and urgently beats the drum, he forgets himself. At present, enemy states have already deeply invaded our lands, while within the state there is unrest and movement. Officers and soldiers lie brutally cut down and exposed on the border. The fate of the entire population hangs upon you. So what do you mean by being seen off?" Zhuang was speechless. Sima then summoned the provost marshal and inquired, "What is the army's law regarding those who arrive after the appointed time?" He replied, "They should be beheaded." Zhuang was terrified and sent a messenger racing back to the capital to have the duke issue an immediate pardon. But before the messenger returned with the pardon, Zhuang had already been executed. Thereafter, the officials and nobles were all terrified of Sima, and no one dared hesitate in following his orders. Summary. A rule of leadership states to always reward in public but to criticize in private. However, there are times when others need to see the possible consequences of their behavior by making an example of someone.